Hey all, I just wanted to drop some quick thoughts about my current standing with Ninja Gaiden 4 and, well, its standing in general with fans and its reputation that have been plaguing my mind as of late. It feels like the hype fizzled out quicker than I anticipated, and while yes, I'll also admit the honeymoon phase has dissipated for me as well, you know, that feeling of pining for another Ninja Gaiden after all these years of it lying dormant, I'll still argue that my first doe-eyed playthrough actually pales in comparison to the fun I've been having with it after getting to know the game on a first name basis, if you will. NG4 is my personal pick for Game of the Year in 2025, and because it came out so late last year, these accolades could very well bleed into 2026 as well, especially if the Two Masters DLC makes a big splash. The red carpet was rolled out for Ninja Gaiden at the beginning of 2025, with even Team Ninja dubbing the year as the Year of the Ninja, Stealth dropping the black version of Ninja Gaiden 2, and a trailer for Ninja Gaiden 4, with more people being more elated about the latter. But hey, Black 2 was still the sweet cherry on top to sweeten that deal. So, how did a game that had garnered so much attention over a nearly year-long crusade end up becoming the franchise's worst-selling game? Yes, even Ninja Gaiden Z has outdone its sales numbers relative to their release windows. The game has barely been out for a quarter of a year and it's already been marked down on digital storefronts. Now, it would be naive of me to believe the Ninja Gaiden property has the same pulling power as it once did in its heyday, but it literally had everything going for it. It was being developed by the action game savants Platinum Games, some of who worked on the beloved original Bayonetta 1, and it was receiving promotion out the wazoo. But its mixed reception is probably the outcome of Xbox mishandling everything and of course them being tone deaf yet again. As Ninja Gaiden 4 was fast approaching its launch, Xbox decided to be sneaky and price hike Game Pass, and it's easy to point fingers at Ninja Gaiden 4 being the fall guy to blame for this price hike for day one releases, with some outright quitting their subscriptions or at the very least downsizing to the lower tiers, one of which includes me. In all honesty, it was probably the fault of Black Ops 7, but since Ninja Gaiden 4's release date coincided with this announcement, it left a lot of consumers burned, and the potential players who probably wanted to play Ninja Gaiden 4 because, I mean, it looks awesome, it is awesome, they were burnt, and it was convenient for them to play it on Game Pass on day one, but now that Game Pass has inflated, it was like a $10 inflation, and the game is $70, of course, newcomers aren't gonna flock to Ninja Gaiden 4 so easily. So any potential newfound player base for the game was lost. Now, I'm a huge Ninja Gaiden fan, so I was going to pay the price of admission regardless of if I had Game Pass Ultimate, which I did at the time, because that's just how much I believed in the product and wanted to support it directly. But even I'll admit that it's a steep asking price for a game that admittedly graphically doesn't hold up with its contemporaries. And the fact that the character action genre is now deemed niche, that makes me shudder. Even though I feel like I've got my money's worth, you know, I've seen a good 40 hours into the game so far, and with that number only going up, because I'll see you on this game in case you were skeptical. This game has insane replay value, and it's a game that's so easy to drop in and drop out and get your quick fix of cathartic action gameplay, while prior Ninja Gaidens felt like there was like a barrier to entry to get into the groove of things and get the cogs rolling, so to speak. Despite how small this barrier is in actuality, Ninja Gaiden 4 it's just such a smooth experience to jump in and jump out, which leads to another issue Ninja Gaiden 4 faces, is the fact that a lot of the legacy fan base doesn't view this game as a legitimate next entry in the franchise. And, you know, there's some validity to the arguments that I've read and watched on YouTube. This is a platinum game through and through, with touches of Teen Ninja's formula sprinkled throughout, but overall it does play differently. I'll admit that. It does incorporate different gameplay philosophies, and for purists for whom this franchise is pretty known for, this is a big no-no essentially. But like with every Ninja Gaiden, to me personally, they all have their own particular feel, and it's the same case for this game. And while, you know, with a whole grade school career and developer switch later, obviously it's not going to play like those Ninja Gaiden games that released 2 to 3 console generations ago. The NG trilogy kind of fits within the 7th generation. I know the first Ninja Gaiden in black came out on Xbox, but that was like very late into the console cycle, so I kind of just group it into that 7th generation with Ninja Gaiden 2 2 and Ninja Gaiden 3, and I guess Ninja Gaiden Z as well. It's also been circulating that this game is too easy, and while I think there's some validity to that as well, I also think in some respects it's harder than the other entries as well. Like a Ninja, NG4 is highly adaptable and can accommodate a wide range of playing styles. You can make this game as difficult or as simple as you'd like, and while it's impressive when a game sets a clearly defined goal that has been tweaked and balanced and perfected to be this well-designed gauntlet, I believe we should also applaud when a game has the elasticity to give the player so many options to push you with your own parameters set by your own definition of what's challenging, which I think Ninja Gaiden 4 does masterfully. While I think I could take a crack at it and dismantle all the criticisms thrown its way, such as enemy magnetism, a weird criticism I think is that it has too many tools in your tool set, I'll just say just give Ninja Gaiden 4 another chance with an open mind. Don't let Ninja Gaiden 4 have a resurgence years down the line after these conglomerates drop it after seeing that it didn't meet a quota, and the franchise fading into obscurity yet again, as same song and dance that happened with Ninja Gaiden 3. I'm not trying to sweep for the game wholeheartedly, it does have its flaws, but I do recommend it at the end of the day. It strikes a great balance of having a low barrier to entry, but a pretty high skill ceiling. And I think if we get past some of that purist mentality, or in a newcomer's case, get past the asking price, maybe you can get it marked down, because I will agree that this game should have been at the most $60. I would even say $50. I know Platinum is kind of in a gray area of being AAA and AA. Probably leans more on the AAA side, but I think if this game was $50, that would be perfect, in all honesty. And maybe like $70 for the deluxe edition, maybe $80, because the 2 Masters DLC looks like it'll be a pretty substantial add-on, and also you get all these different cosmetics and stuff. I think I paid like $90 for the complete package. Oh my gosh, I just sound like a consumer now. But I believe in this product, and I believe in the 2 Masters as well, which leads me to, the 2 Masters. I'm holding on to a glimmer of hope that 2 Masters will revitalize Ninja Gaiden 4 in some capacity, because the game desperately needs it at this point. But this expansion really has to bring out the big guns, or the big weapons. But since it hasn't released close to the initial game launch, it leads me to speculate that the 2 Masters was conjured up as a contingency plan just in case there was like some backlash with the new direction NG4 took. This could be something they're investing a lot of time into and resources to deliver more daring ideas that were left on the cutting room floor, which is an exciting possibility. We could get more interesting, less monochromatic environments and level design, which I'll admit is a bit lacking in the base game, let's be real. Maybe Platinum has their ears to the ground and they're listening to fan feedback and will release a big patch or update with the 2 Masters release. I have no quarrels with how the game plays in its current state, but if there's possible big changes, if that means NG4 will catch a second wind, I'm willing to adapt to any of those changes, minor or major, like a ninja would. Anyway, that's all I have for you guys. I hope to see you in the next video. Peace.